morning, sir. Good morning, classmate. I will continue the discussion of Group 3. Communication process. The communication process refers to the transmission or passage of the information or message from the sender through a selected channel to the receiver, overcoming barriers that affect its pace. The process of communication is a cyclic one, as it begins with the sender and ends with the sender. In the information of feedback, it takes place upward, downward, and laterally throughout the organization. So, it is a process or a cycle between the sender and the receiver. It is also interaction between these two. They are exchanging information by sending a message and performing a feedback. Next one is sender. The different elements in the process of communication. Sender. The very foundation of communication process is laid by the person who transmits or sends the message. He is the sender of the message, which may be a thought, idea, a picture, symbol, report, or an order, and postures and gestures. Even a momentary smile. The sender is therefore the initiator of the message that need to be transmitted. So, sender, it is the person who send the first message in the cycle of communication. The information may be through spoken, gesture, pictures, symbols, reports, and any other ideas. Next one is message. Message is referred to as the information conveyed by the words as in speech and writes up, signs, pictures or symbols depending upon the situation and the nature and importance of information desired to be sent. The message is sent, basically the information being processed by the sender. Next one is encoding. Encoding is putting the targeted message into appropriate medium, which may be verbal or non-verbal depending upon the situation, time, space, and nature of the message to be sent. The encoding is the processing of the understanding the message that may inform of symbols, pictures, or words to be passed into the receiver. The next one is channel. Channels refers to the way or mode the message flows or is transmitted through. The message is transmitted over a channel that links the sender with the receiver. The message may be oral or written, and it may be transmitted through a memorandum, a computer, telephone, cell phone, apps, and television. Channel, it is a way how will gonna message transmitted to the receiver. It may be oral or written or can be informed as a memorandum, a computer, telephone, or other more. The next one is receiver. Receiver is the person or group who the message is meant for. He may be a listener, a reader, or a viewer. A negligence on the part of the receiver may make the communication ineffective. The receiver needs to comprehend the message sent in the best possible manner such that the true intent of the communication is attained. Receiver is one who will gonna receive the message from the sender. He may be a listener, a reader, or a viewer. He is the one who will analyze the message of the sender. The next one is decoding. Decoding refers to interpreting or converting the sent message intelligible language. It simply means comprehending the message. The receiver, after receiving the message, interprets it and tries to understand it in the best possible manner. The decoding, a process of translating the information the receiver are the ones who will gonna do it to do it that we will interpret and understand the information. The next one is feedback. Feedback is the ultimate aspect of communication process. It refers to the response of the receiver as to the message sent to him or her by the sender. Feedback is necessary to ensure that the message has been effectively encoded, sent, decoded, and comprehend. The feedback basically it is the response of the receiver to the sender. It ensures the information being sent. It is also the final step in the communication process. Feedback. Consider the following points related to the feedback involved in the process of communication. It enhances the effectiveness of the communication as it permits the sender to know the efficacy of his message. It enables to the sender to know if his or her message has been properly comprehended. The analysis of the feedbacks helps improve future message. Feedback like the message can be verbal or nonverbal and transmitted through carefully chosen channel of communication. We can represent the above in steps in a model as the model of communication. The feedback as is the proof that the receiver understands the message of the sender. It is the analysis and result of the information being transmitted. Types of feedback. The types of feedback, Kevin Ujeberry, the world famous leadership exponent, mentioned the four types of feedback. The types are as follows: negative feedback or corrective moments about past behavior, positive feedback or affirming comments about future behavior, negative feedback forward or corrective comments about future behavior, positive feedback or affirming comments about future behavior. Types of feedback. Negative feedback, it aims to correct past behavior. Then the positive feedback, it confirms and assured comments to future behavior. Then negative feedback forward, feed forward, aims to correct future behavior. Positive feed forward, assuring comments to the behavior. The next one is model of the communication process. The first one is the sender decides the message to be transmitted. The next is the sender encodes the message. And the third one is the sender selects the appropriate channel of the communication. The next is the receiver receives the message. And the next one, the receiver decodes the message. And the last, the receiver provides the feedback to the sender. Next is characteristic of effective communication. Completeness of the message. Communication must be complete so as not to be baffled. The recipient. Better communication helps in better decision making by the letter. It develops and enhances the reputation of an organization. It may prevent misunderstanding in the company, or it is also important that the message must be exactly explained. The next is clearness and integrity of the message. The message to be conveyed or sent must have clarity and integrity for better understanding. Clarity of thoughts and ideas enhance the meaning of the message. The pith and substance of the message should be based on honesty and accuracy. It will enhance on what you want to say in the company. Clarity is the key to be easily understand the thought. Next is consistence of the message. The intended message must be free from verbosity and should be so written that it is intelligible at the first sight. Short and intelligible message sent to the receiver is ever appealing and comprehensible. It saves time and cost as it understood at the first instance. You need to be straight to the point in order to save in sending a message and can be understood easily. The next is consideration of physical settings and the recipient. In order to make communication more effective, the overall physical settings, etc., the media of communication and the work environment must be considered. The content of the message must take into account the attitude, knowledge, and position of the recipient. The media of communication must be well organized. The message will entertain if you have a good place or workplace. The next is clarity of the message. The message should have clarity, thought, and ideas in order to be understood clearly. Message makes use of exact, appropriate, and concrete words and symbols. The clarity of the message must be clear and informative. It may form into symbols and concrete words. The next is courtesy to be maintained. The sender's message should be so drafted or prepared that it should be polite, reflective, and enthusiastic. It must show the sender's respect for the receiver and be positive and focused at the receiver. The courtesy to be maintained. Your message should be prepared and organized because once you mistake, the message will not understandable. The next is correctness of the message. The drafting of the message should be done in such a manner that the final message doesn't have any grammatical errors and repetitions of the sentence. The message should be exact and well-timed. The correctness of the message. Preparing of the information must be final and doesn't have any grammatical errors and repetition in order to understand easily. Types of communication. Verbal and non-verbal communication, formal and informal communication, downward and upward communication. The verbal and non-verbal. The verbal and non-verbal communication is a message transmitted verbally, while non-verbal is by unspoken mediums. Formal and informal communication. The formal communication are those official and recognized in communication system, while informal communication is just an interaction with the unauthorized people with the company. Downward and upward communication. Downward communication starts from people and higher levels like CEO and other bosses up to lower position, while upward communication from subordinates to superiors and continues up to organizational hierarchy. These topics are furtherly discussed by the next reporter. Thank you.